choreography is the topic of this chapter. And choreography was quite an important part of it, because it was like any theatrical musical, it involved dance, and we had dancers. So back in May, when we first met with choreographer, and we actually knew her from many years ago, our daughter took lessons from her, right?
That's right, a few years ago, yeah.
Quite a few, 5 or 6 years ago. And the choreographer, her name is Ludmila Kashkavar. So she gave that idea, as I mentioned before, about frozen statues. And then we talked that when it gets closer to the second video shoot, we will meet again and talk about specific moves, specific dance, and so on. So we met in September, and that was the first time I saw the girl. Not all of them, some of them I knew before, but like we met with 5 girls who would dance later on in the video, and we started to play. First I talked to them and I introduced ourselves and talked about project a bit, and they were all like not knowing exactly what to...
I would say.
Yes, they didn't really know what to expect at first. It was the first video shoot for them. They participated in different festivals, but never got recorded on video. And that got some specifics, like you don't need to learn the whole dance by heart, because it's all about particular scenes. So you can just say, okay, in this particular scene you do this move, and you shouldn't remember it by heart. On the other hand, when you do this move, you actually have to do it perfectly, because it will be just zoomed in on you, and you cannot make mistakes. You don't have the luxury of making mistakes comparing to when you are in some group, and the focus of those who watch you dance, it's not just on you.
Right.
So we met with them, and Ludmila, she started creating different dancing moves, that sequence of dancing moves, asking us about each and every phrase, like, okay, what this phrase means, what that phrase means.
Both literally and not literally, so that was interesting.
Yeah, some image behind.
Yeah.
And when I saw those girls dancing for the first time, that was actually a really weird feeling for me. I felt like this is not a family project anymore. I saw other people working hard to make it happen, to make our video happen. And that was actually, so I was just standing there watching them dance to our music, and I was all like, wow, they're actually doing it.
Pinch me, is it real?
Yeah, they're actually doing it.
I know the feeling.
And that was the moment when I actually started to believe that this is not some abstract thing anymore. This is actually going to happen.
Yeah, it's not a fantasy anymore.
This is where I cast a spell. This is where I cast a spell.
Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Heroes song, they never tell the story. Heroes song, they never tell the story. What was home, what was lost, what's within.
Well, you were all so excited, and the girls seemed to have fun. I was quietly suffering, and sometimes not so quietly. It was a living hell for me.
Why?
I'm not an actor and I'm not a good dancer, so it seems, because I would not believe it. In my childhood, I danced pretty well, and I took a lot of dancing classes, and my rhythm was just alright, but the combination of the heels and the costume, and I had to speak up the lyrics right in sync with the song at the same time while turning or acting. It was just too much for me, and I had to look at myself from reflections of multiple mirrors, which was scary and very distracting, very disturbing. My posture was not so good.
And yeah, that was the next big challenge, because you got all emotional quite often and got all tears like several times during each rehearsal.
And I was not steady on my feet, even without the heels. I was shocked that it happened to me. Well, at the end of the day, with the mirrors.
And yeah, but you know, like with all those tears, not just mirrors, tears, I kept thinking, oh my God. Like if it's happening now, what's gonna happen with all the makeup on stage? Like we're not going to make it if after each failure you would start crying. And they was all dancing around trying to solve not technical but psychological problems. How to tell you that you need to fix something without making you cry, because if you cried, it would just stop immediately the whole production, the whole recording, until makeup artist comes in and makes the touch-ups and so on, and you look all crying. So that was a challenge for me.
Well, you know, artists are emotional. They're supposed to be. Especially queens.
Well, I'm emotional myself, but in this case I was a producer and creative director. So emotions, it wasn't
a part of your deal, right?
Yes, it wasn't a part of my deal. I had to find that way how, and we had those talks several times when I just asked you to calm down, and I tried to tell you, you know what? I'm not trying to criticize you, but as a creative director, I have this luxury, this right to tell you how you should move and what you should do, because you just physically cannot see you from a side. Even when you saw yourself in a mirror, it wasn't the same. And I am like a flying camera around you and seeing all your moves from all the different directions and trying to think about what emotion is in each move. And when I told you that, no, it doesn't work this way, I didn't want to criticize you. I wanted just to make it look as I saw.
Nice. So lucky to have you as my producer and the director of the video. Don't make me cry now.
You make me all emotion. Another memorable moment was the choreography of the key scene, the shawl scene. Probably everyone in this production heard these words, shawl, the shawl scene, like hundreds of times from me. Because for me it was really the key scene. It was the moment of transformation, yes, from the ordinary woman to the Snow Queen. And the way I imagined it and the way I wrote it in our script was Milana makes a swirling move with a shawl, and then we just cross-fade it to the queen making the same swirling move and kind of make it blurry, and then through you we'll see the Snow Queen. And I thought this is pretty simple, like so you have this shawl on your shoulders and you do something like this, so you just lift it up and yeah. Oh, you see, I messed up already.
I get dizzy and goosebumps already.
So yeah, so you lift it up and make this swirling move, and it was so simple for me. But each time we tried it with you,
it turned into a complete mess. Several family scandals, almost a broken mirror, a few trips. Too fast it was, too slow it was, too loud, not proud enough, not graceful, not fast enough, too slow, too loud. The words were all out of sync. I almost fell a few times.
Okay, I got the point. Yeah, I was the pain in the bib. But I am a producer and I am the creative director. I saw it this way and it had to be that way, exactly as I imagined. But I got the point. I mean, I got the point that it's not as simple as I imagined. That moment that actually lasted just about 1 second, and that was a key moment for me. It wasn't that simple to do, and one of the things was that that shawl always caught by your hair, and well, I like your curls, but
You love my curls.
I love your curls, yes, and they were part of your image, but we had to do something, and I tried to simplify this thing. Okay, I understood that you cannot do this move, and we tried to change it and try to change it again, and I think we just checked like 10 versions of that move, and I ended up with really something strange. I just put a chair in front of you and put the shawl just in front of you. I said, like, this is a close-up scene anyways. You only can see the face or something,
right?
So you don't
what's
see
the big
you don't see what's in there. So I said, like, okay, let's put the shawl just in front of you, and you will just pick it up, and no one will see that you are picking it up, and then you'll just raise it up, like, so it's in front of you.
A chipmunk could do it.
Yes, and you just do something like this, like, okay, so, and we just did a slight modification to it when we actually filmed it. Instead of using chairs, we just asked a couple of assistants. So those 2 assistants, they stood on their knees and held it like this for you, just to pick it up. You just, without looking, and that was another problem, that you kept looking, like you look at the camera, and then you just, no, like, don't look there.
Off with your head!
You're looking into the camera, you cannot do something like this. So they were standing on their knees, and it was really funny. You were in your costume of the Snow Queen, and they kneel in front of you.